of the Rings. That is El Qadir. If you remember, anybody who liked those type of movies, Lord of the Rings and all, that's Gandalf is El Qadir. Okay, he's people are consumed by it. Okay, which means that that energy overtakes them. You understand that? So El Qadir, as Enki, there's another story of him. He kills a dragon, Kur, okay, to save the goddess Erishkigal, and that is Erishkigal is the ancient Sumerian. If you go look her up, one of the people that took place in one of the creations of human beings, Erishkigal and Nergal. Okay, so you have Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. That is El Qadir. If you remember, anybody who liked those type of movies, Lord of the Rings and all, that's Gandalf is El Qadir. Okay, he's playing that part. He's a transdimensional being. Okay, he's not a stranger to this world. They say most of us are strangers to theirs. Okay, or his or hers. And our linear experience of time is merely the strand of creation emanated from the singularity. These are notes that I took to speak on. Okay, so again, El Qadir, take that note and go look into who he is. So now we're about to get into the second part of this, the astral projection exercises. Okay, this is where you start finding out, how can I clear this out? People have questions. What am I supposed to? I'm about to answer that for you. Okay, let's start with a very simple exercise. Okay, and again, if this isn't for you, it isn't for you. It's not time, or it may not be time. It may not come a time. So if you feel like it's scary, I understand. It's not for you. For anybody who may listen to the replay, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you deal with this if you're led to. Because some people, they just have this activation. They never heard of me, and it just starts happening to them. All right? They never have to try to practice. Certain genes are being activated where your soul is doing it. Somebody outside of you, another being outside of you is calling you to be able to see it. But something and someone in this realm wants particular people to be able to experience that there exists a realm beyond this one, so that you don't get trapped in this one. You understand? With all of the fear. That's why I tell people, atmosphere. At most in this realm, what do you have? Fear. The highest thing that's keeping people here. The strongest thing that's keeping people here. Once you go past that atmosphere, then you have a heavenly experience. That's an allegory. You understand? It's not to say that atmospheres don't exist, or outer space doesn't exist, or other planets don't exist. Remember, it's as within, so without. So the allegory also has to have a reality. You understand? So let's start with a simple exercise. If you start with your fingers, okay? First, you start with your fingers. Let's say you're laying out or you're sitting in a chair. You start with your fingers. Start imagining that you're lifting your thumb. Okay, start imagining that you're lifting your index. Now, this takes time. Some people don't want to take this much time. Again, a lot of stuff that we talk about, it ain't something that happened overnight for you to start grasping it. But for some, maybe it does. But some things just take time. So you start figuring out how your imagination allows for you to not just see things, but it allows for you to target certain places within your being that are also a part of what you call your astral body. Okay? So you lift your thumb and you put it down. Then you lift your index finger, your ring finger, you understand, your middle finger, your pinky, and you do this over and over again with different parts of your body. All right? And there is something that starts to become more and more aware that was dormant at one point. And your astral body, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? You notice me, you know that I'm here. And then when you start crossing over into the more dormant thresholds of the physical, into what will be more active, they call it the dream world. All right, more active for when you're astral projecting and things of the such. Then your astral body is hyped now. It's like, yo, I'm ready. You understand? Because you already becoming more aware of it. So you're priming your astral body to be more and more linked into your consciousness, as you call it. They begin to sync up more. Because everybody has that soul there. But some people's soul is so dormant. You understand? Because of the frequencies of this world, or because they just never knew that their soul was really there, or that they've been spiritualized so much so that they can't see how spirit and soul go hand in hand. And they think that spirit is just dealing with something gaseous, and it doesn't actually scientifically or tangibly exist. Okay? So I'm explaining to you how you can start to target that. Start with your fingers. How many people had sleep paralysis before? And you know how to stop it now. All right? You know how to stop it. So for me, when I was having it multiple times, I don't have it as much now. Okay? But when I was having it multiple times throughout my life, what I would have to do is I use my toes. I wiggle my toes. And when I would do that, it would allow for me to now turn on the physical activation. So you see how it works in reverse? I can turn on my physical body. Because what's the problem for a lot of people with sleep paralysis? That they coming back from some dream realm or astral projecting, whatever, but they can't move their body. They're consciously awake and aware, but they can't move. You understand? So some people have to sit through whatever that experience is until it's over because they don't know that you can stop it at will. You can stop sleep paralysis. It doesn't have to onset. All right. Through your own curiosity, you may allow for it to at that point, but you can always stop it. Okay. And doing something as simple as moving your toes or moving your fingers. For me, that's what I figured out. Okay. So that's one exercise, targeting certain parts of your body and trying not to move them physically at all. Don't even budge them. Okay. You shouldn't feel any physical motion, but just lift each of them up. All right. Or move certain parts of your body just with your thoughts alone. Okay. And you start being able to see or fathom. Again, I told you thought and matter are not distinguishable. Okay. They actually exist hand in hand, interchangeably. You start to activate that, at least one of your astral bodies, one being the immediate one that you use to travel with in your dreams. Okay. And astral project with. That's one exercise. Another exercise I have written down is I learned to do this moving magnetism around the base of the skull. Okay. So when I started around 13 years old, that was the first thing I realized. The first astral projection I remember at 12, 13 years old was that I got up off of my couch and I looked back. I remember what I had on. I had a green, what you call it? The turtleneck, a thermal, the green thermal on. I had this, bandana. I used to have these, wear bandanas a lot. I had a black bandana around my neck and I had blue, I don't know why I said blue, cargo, capri, camouflage shorts. Okay. So I got up off of the couch and I looked back and I was able to see myself laying on the couch. You know what I'm saying? So that was amazing for me at 12, 13 years old. I don't remember exactly which age it was, at 12 or 13, but it's right there, like they're right there next to each other. But it was an onset from that moment on when I was having those experiences. Okay, I astral project. I just pushed myself out of my body. Where I started to realize that it went hand in hand with vibrations. That when I would experience certain things, even sleep paralysis, that there was a wave of vibration that would happen first. That it wouldn't just happen, now I can't move now. There would be a wave that would happen. I would feel this warp sound or hear this warp sound or feel this warp sensation moving throughout my temple. Okay, so I started being able to locate that myself and onset it by myself. So one way might sound a little weird, but I learned it and it was real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it was like this, but it was real quick. For me, was that I could move magnetism around the base of my skull. So I would take from the front of my mouth, I would imagine magnetism and I would move it like energy. Imagine the motion move around to the left side and around to the back of my head and around the right side and to the front and around the left side and to the back again. I kept doing this. All right. And when I would do that, what I would learn is I could move. Now that I got this firm circle of motion, I could move the circle of motion up. So now it's going around my nose in the front and around the back. And then I could move it into the center of my head. And then I could speed it up. And I started to realize that it wasn't me just quote unquote activating the pineal gland. It was me literally moving magnetism around my pineal gland that would cause for that activation. So even if, look, I broke this down too. That's why I tell y'all, and we'll do a reset and I'll show y'all the meditation tape that I got and allow for y'all the opportunity to get that. But I was talking to people. I said, yo, why meditation is so slow? You know what I'm saying? You deal with people, they say, okay, take the deep breath. Now everybody say, oh. And I'm like, yo, this is slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I experienced it where if you speed up the frequencies that you can jump. Right? So I started to do it differently. Even the chants, I would say, instead of and holding out, I say, and then what I realized that when I would do that, I'm telling y'all, don't take my word. You can do that shit for 30 seconds and you start feeling the difference. Okay? If you by yourself, do it. I don't want people to think y'all crazy. Just come out of nowhere and just start whooping. You know, especially if you got headphones on. When you get time by yourself, do the whoop shit that I just told you about. Might sound funny, but do it for 30 seconds. Time yourself. I dare you. Do it for 30 seconds, and I promise you, you will begin to feel a vibrational difference much faster than what? Oh, I'm talking about. You understand? And I'm telling you. So I started to take them sounds, and I even made a tape. I said, let me make a meditation tape so it'll at least be available for people, where I started to take what I was hearing and what I was doing, and I programmed it into machine so that it could emit that sound out. And it was binaural beats is what they call it, though. They call it binaural beats. So they have beats that function that way. I said, so it's very clear. So instead of just doing Om, All right. Try to do the sped up. Om, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. You see how I'm saying it speeds up? Because again, when we're talking about ascension, you have to speed things up to ascend. All right. When you slow things down, they begin to come down. Notice when we say, yo, I need to speed up. All right. You don't say, yo, I need to speed down. I need to, now you have some people say slow up. All right. But I need to speed down. No, you say, I need to speed up, or I need to, yo, slow down. You understand? It's because again, these frequencies are dealing with, like I told you, when they talking about Ma'at and, the weighing of the heart ceremony, that the higher frequency is, it'll float. All right. It'll begin to become lighter. So when you hear somebody else, a soprano versus a baritone, and you hear them, which one sounds lighter? You know that, soprano. Okay. When you're dealing with a balloon versus a yo-yo, which one is lighter? Okay. The balloon is. Okay. So again, the type of frequency that we're dealing with when you want to astral project and have experiences that you're not subject to beings who can, one, weigh you down, and two, literally pull you down. Now I've experienced that too. Where they reach up and they literally pull you down, or they try to push past certain barriers. I've been literally grabbed and pulled down, had to snatch myself away from these people through my floor. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to have those type of experiences. Here's what you do. Stay away from pornography. Write that down. It's not as easy for some, but I'm telling you, write it down. Semen retention, because people think pornography is where it ends at. No, semen retention is another great way to not continue to let off energies that attract these beings. They show you in the movie Gods of Egypt, okay? And again, semen retention is not just something men can do. Women, you can do it too, all right? Now, this is, again, are you going to turn away from the delicacies, or are you going to continue to do it? Now, am I saying that just because you're doing that, it is going to have negative experiences? No, again, all I'm doing is telling you some ways that I figured out. Close certain doors before you get to them. For anybody who has any concerns, this is what I'm saying. Any concerns or attributes, I'm not afraid of shit. Anything I do, I'm able to, I do it with diligence. If I have to deal with some shit because I did some shit, I know why it's happening. I'm not confused about it. But some people, they be like, yo, why you didn't tell me? Like I remember somebody from 10th grade. Okay, he started walking with me. He started astral projecting. He thought everything I was saying was lies. He was a straight Christian. He thought everything I was saying was lies. I said, all right, you'll, okay, whenever you're ready, you'll get into it whenever you're ready. If not, then that's all I got for you. But then he started having the experience. He said, well, yo, I'm having this. I said, well, let me tell you why. Because you started to listen to what I was saying. And then he started doing it. So he was being able to leave his body and travel. He's seeing the stars and all these things. But then he had an experience where there was a being outside his window, all right, staring him down. And he got scared. And he called me. He said, why you didn't tell me that there was negative experience? Why you didn't tell me that? I said, I did tell you. But you wasn't listening to me. I told you that the same way you go through the astral realm is the same way you move through this realm. You're not going to just go to nobody's hood at 3 a.m. with $100,000 in your book bag, walking around talking about saying, yeah, nigga, turn up. Like you're a walking lick, like you're a walking target. So you have to make sure that even if you are going through certain places, nigga, you black out and you go in and you go out. You're not there to frolic, and you need to be passing through. There's certain hoods in real life. What the fuck are you doing there? Get out of there. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you will be able to know that. But again, I'm explaining it for people that need that. Again, so you take certain things like pornography out of your realm. Semen retention, you practice that. Okay? You raise the frequencies around you, the music, as I was telling you earlier. Okay? These are things that close doors and make it less prevalent of an experience, or less of a reality that you have to deal with negativity. And then you start getting into the bliss of it, where everything out here, y'all, is so much information. It's so many things to learn, because we're learning so much while we're here now. You understand? As soon as you come out of the womb, you're learning something. You're learning. You start crying. You start breathing in oxygen that you weren't breathing in the same way when you were in the womb, operating as an amphibian or a fish. Okay? All right? So you start breathing in oxygen on land. That's when you went from water to land. Your evolution. The water broke, and now you're on land. You start experiencing light, chaos. You see it. That's why most babies cry, because what the fuck is this? You understand? But then they put light in the womb with the ultrasound. Okay, so they doing that too. But the point is, you start walking. Nobody teaches you, hey, yo, pick your feet up. All right, what do I do now? All right, put that foot back down. Put that foot back down. Okay, pick that one up. Put that one down. Put that one up. Put that one down. Pick that one up. Put that one down. Nobody tells you that. You just start learning it. A learned behavior of the environment. Okay, this is your DNA unraveling and say, I learned how to walk. I learned how to talk. I learned how to use my thumbs. I learned how to do this. I learned now I'm a operating adult. Look at everything I can do now. And you can expand that even further, like Bruce Lee was showing you. You understand? So this is all information in your waking realm that expands you. So what do you think is happening when you step over into the dream world? What do you think is happening when you step over into the astral projection world? It's happening the same way, except what? Even faster. I'm telling y'all, it's nothing like studying in the dream world. That's why I send people to study. I say, yo, after I told you this, go try it. All right? When you get in your dream, especially when you're a lucid dreamer, you need to be trying things out. And the more you begin to lucid dream, astral projection makes more sense to you. So as a lucid dreamer, you'll stand on top of a building, you'll jump, and you'll do your best to catch yourself. Some of you, you won't even have to catch yourself. You would have got to a point now like I'm at, I just jump off of the building and keep going. You understand? Because you have no fear of gravity. Why would you fear gravity? Because you're trying to place your astral body mind or lucid mind at that time in a lower dense realm. And fear is low density. Okay? In a realm like this one, which is a lot more dense than even the dream world, where you say, well, what if I fall? Fear. So that means what? You have to ask, what if I fall? Okay, now you're dealing with, I don't know if I'll fall. So you won't jump and you won't realize what you already do know, that you're in a higher density realm, and you won't fall as long as you do what you know you can do. You push off the magnetism of yourself and you'll fly. You will propel or you will project. You understand that? So that's very clear. So we got already the two exercises, moving with your fingers, all right, or moving certain parts of your astral body, okay? And then you have the moving magnetism around your skull. One more thing I'll tell you with that moving magnetism around your skull part, the part 2 of the exercises is what? That you can start with recognizing what we call magnetic energy. If you just take your hands and put them in front of yourself, all right, as if you're holding let's say a box, and you make that box smaller and smaller, and if you could take small motions, all right, move the box to be bigger, move it to be smaller, do it in small motions, which you will start to feel almost immediately. Some people may take longer, some people may be shorter. You'll start to feel the magnetism between your hands. It's not something spirit all crazy. No, it is the chi spirit ball, if you want to call it that. Okay, but if I'm making sure that people can understand it in different ways, it's magnetic polarity. Okay, it's what you'll begin to achieve awareness of that between your hands, your left and your right. So you push your hands in and you pull them out. You push them in and you pull them out. You push them in and you pull them out. And you do this and you hold some sort of, and let me tell you what you're going to learn to do. Okay, you'll get to a certain point. I'm at this point where after a while, you'll be able to take this energy and you'll be able to move your hands around each other, and it'll be like a slinky. Okay, if you can imagine a slinky tied or taped to your left and your right hand, and that energy will move in between your hands. You'll feel it. I'm telling you, all you have to do is move one hand, start one rotation, and start the other one shortly after, as if you were running in slow motion, and move your hands that way. All right, and you'll start feeling that energy. Some of y'all are doing it right now, and you're feeling it. All right, you're seeing that what I'm telling you is true. So imagine having done this for almost 10 years now with that one in particular, because it was shorter than my astral projection. But I started to do that as soon as I was introduced to alchemy, okay, on a higher level, a higher degree of alchemy. So I started to learn that. And there are levels you can take that. So you have some chi masters, inner chi, inner G, okay, masters, like they show you in them videos where they're able to light newspapers on fire. Bruce Lee, a chi master. All right. His focus or concentration is on a whole different level. This man, you could throw matches at him when he was here, throw matches at him, and he could take the nunchucks and strike the matches while they were flying to him. You understand how much precision you would have to have? The focus that comes from that type of focus comes from martial arts. That type of focus comes from meditation, none other. I'm telling y'all that. Because even when you're doing what I'm telling you, the simple stages of moving energy around in your hands, it takes focus. And the more you want to do it on different levels, it takes more focus. How do you think people are able to be telekinetic? I haven't really indulged too much in telekinetics yet. All right. I've done it with my phone, but you don't have to believe me on that. But that was just when I came from astral projection, and it was an occurrence where my phone was in my hand already, and I'm already laid out, and my phone starts to move around in my hand. I could feel through magnetism. So it has something to do with the magnetism that was already activated from my astral projection experience. It wasn't something that I onset by myself. So I haven't indulged in that yet. Other than that, I have done it, but it's not something that I took further. Not yet. But it's, again, I'm showing you how it's possible. Because if you have a magnetic pulse or pull that you can feel between your hands, imagine if you could realize that a bottle of water near you or something near you has the same type of push and pull frequencies within it, and that you can interact with it. Understand? As long as you can understand that. And that's why, again, that type of information is saved for the adepts. They don't really teach that to the public at all, even when you walk the monk school. All right, who I walk with the monks. You understand? And they invite me every week. They invite me to their feast. I ain't seen them in so long, but every week they still reach out to me. You understand? And I can read you the message. As a matter of fact, I might just do that and show you that, again, I'm talking to, let's see, right, Hare Krishna. They say, I'd like to invite you to the Krishna Life Spiritual Sunday Festival. You know what I'm saying? They give me the address. Our one-of-a-kind spiritual gathering will consist of chanting, dancing, discussing. They send this every Sunday. They haven't stopped for years. You understand? So they stay in contact with me. It's still, I'm telling you, even when I was talking to them, you got levels of it. Don't think every single monk is on the same type timing, or that they all have the same understanding. Okay, because they reserve certain pieces for certain ones. They wanted me in immediately, though. As soon as they met me, they was like, yo. They was giving me free books. Hey, you need to study. You understand? And they were giving me beads. This is where I got my prayer beads from. And they were telling me they were teaching me the tones of Hare Krishna. Okay, so it's just one of those things that, you know, it's different levels. So some of y'all, you may go further than me, faster than me. It's possible, and that's why I wanted